Hi everyone, this is Jessica Bradley coming to you with the April LCD class topic. So, I wanted to continue to produce classes and content for you to stay on track with your plans. And this month we're going to talk about water, fluid, and hydration. The thing I love about this topic is that it is something that is relevant to everyone. We all need water, we all need fluid, we all need to stay hydrated. And we're going to dig in and talk about how that plays a role in our bodies, in weight loss, and some tips to help you stay on track to meet those needs. The great thing I love about this topic for this month is there's a lot of uncertainty going on. Now, the one thing that we can all be working on, and we know that for the most part, pretty much every American has consistent access to, is clean water. And that's something I'm really, really thankful for. And so, with that, we can all continue to work on meeting our goals of getting in all of the fluid that we need. And we're going to talk about why that's so important for us. Before we do that, we're going to do a little bit of review. I think throughout this time, it's really important for us to look back, evaluate how we've been doing, and be thinking about how we can make improvements moving forward. I think it would be really difficult to know how to make improvements moving forward if we don't sit and look back to see how we've done in the past. So things that I want you to be thinking about moving forward is, do you have a food journal and are you using it? I tell you every single month how important food journaling is. And I think especially now it's really important to keep track of your calories, your water, your protein, your carbs, and think about seeing how things fit together and what you can do to make changes moving forward. Meal planning. So, things are a little inconsistent now. You're not really sure what you're going to be able to find at the grocery store all the time, and have reliable access to everything. You don't want to make multiple trips to the grocery store. Now, if you plan your meals out ahead and you come up with some ideas or a list of some of the things that you want to find, it can help prevent your trips to the grocery store. So we want to keep you out of the store as much as you possibly can. So planning things out can help ensure that you're getting everything you need so that you don't have to make multiple trips. Now, choose things that you think you might be able to find, or things that come in multiple versions, like vegetables. That's a great thing about our vegetables, is that we can find, for example, green beans. They can be fresh, they can be frozen, they can be canned. There's nothing wrong with either version. They all work and all would be adequate for this nutrition plan. Same thing with some of our lean proteins. A lot of times you can find chicken that's fresh, frozen, or canned. So some of your canned probably isn't going to be super available right now, but you might be able to find it fresh or frozen. So again, make sure have some flexibility going into it, that looking for either option and make it work well in your nutrition plan. That's a great thing about some of the access to foods that we have right now, is that they do come in multiple different versions, and they might not have the kind that you're used to using. That doesn't mean that we can't make some small adjustments to try and make a frozen chicken breast work. There are lots and lots of great recipes on cooking and telling you how to safely thaw those meats and things so that you can stay safe and healthy throughout this time. Other really important thing is try and make sure you're still limiting your carbohydrates to less than 50 a day. So avoiding those high carbohydrate items such as grains, chips, crackers, and sweets. This is where meal planning can be really, really helpful for you. You can plan out your snacks as well to help keep you on track, so that you don't just go to the cupboard or go to your pantry and look at all of your options and see chips as your first option. If you already have a plan going in and you know you're going to have your cheese stick, then you're going to go directly get that cheese stick and have that as your snack. Also, with your meal planning, knowing that you're getting in enough protein. Protein's going to help keep you feeling full, which is hopefully going to help prevent your snacking in between your meals. Also, we're going to talk about this a lot today, making sure you're getting at least 64 ounces of water and fluid to stay hydrated. That's really something that if you're not great at it, I really want to encourage you to work on, because like I mentioned, Water is fairly something that we're going to have consistent access to as long as you have a clean water source in your home. Again, most Americans do. So if you're struggling to find good, consistent water access, please don't hesitate to let us know. We'd be more than happy to help you with that. But that's a great thing about something that we're really blessed with in our country. For our discussion, I want you guys to be thinking about, look back at your food journals. What is one goal that you met this past month? Now, really take the time to think about some of your goals and what you worked really hard to accomplish, and let's build on that. And be thinking about how can you continue to meet that goal and add some more goals to it so that you continue to make progress and move forward with your weight loss journey. So looking at your food journals, what is one area where you struggled and can improve on over the next few weeks and month? Maybe you didn't keep a food journal and that's something that you know you've been supposed to do, and you have the capacity to work that in. Or maybe you're not getting enough fluid, and this is a great topic for you to be listening in on and getting some tips on in order to meet your fluid needs moving forward. And then think about, are there any new foods or recipes you've tried this past month? This is a great time to be a little bit more creative in the kitchen, as a lot of people have more time with things and maybe some more help from family members on cooking. And it's a great time to get creative with what you have and try new things. Now we're going to dig into our topic of water, fluid, and hydration. I loved doing research on this because I was reminded of all of the amazing things that water does for us and how important it is for our bodies. So, many of you might not know that water is the most abundant substance in the human body. It makes up the majority of your body weight. So, it makes up 50 to 65%. Now, this isn't a time to think, maybe if I don't drink as much water, I won't weigh as much. Your body needs water more than any other substance. It needs it the most. It's still super, super important. We want to get rid of the other things in your body, like the excess body fat. We don't want to necessarily get rid of body water, especially for healthy adults. Water typically makes up 8 to 12 gallons in your body. So again, that's a lot of water, and it is essential. Your body needs it. We can't really cut out fluid intake very much because we all need at least 64 ounces of water, and we'll talk about that a little bit more in our upcoming slides. Your lean body tissue holds more water than your body fat, and then even your bones contain water. That's really weird to think about, but almost every part of your body uses and needs water for it to work correctly. Even your bones need that water. So a little bit about the importance of water. Water is the nutrient in your body that has the greatest amount. So your water is the nutrient your body needs in the greatest amount. So again, water makes up the most of your body weight, and it is what your body needs the most of. Almost every life-sustaining body process needs water to function. So again, so important to have lots of good fluid and hydration for your body to work properly and do everything that you need it to do. It helps increase satiety, so you feel fuller a little bit quicker, which is a great thing about water. Your body requires additional fluid to eliminate waste as fat breaks down. So as we have your body in a state where you're burning fat and we want to get rid of your excess body fat, usually you need more water to eliminate some of the byproducts of that waste that's produced from that fat breaking down. It also helps with your bowel regularity. We talk about this a lot with constipation, with managing constipation, that water is really, really important. So again, great things that can really help you feel better, especially if you're struggling with constipation. Getting more water can really help with regulating that. Water is also necessary for digestion and absorption. We know that it's a medium for metabolic reactions for energy production. So as your body is digesting food and transitioning some of those nutrients to your cells for energy, water is a really, really critical aspect of making that function work well. I think some of you might have experienced, and I know for myself recently, as I've really been working on trying to meet fluid goals, I've noticed my energy level being better, and this is part of the reason for that. It helps transport waste and nutrients. So not only eliminating waste from your body through your kidneys and your large intestines, it also helps transport waste away from cells as it's breaking down nutrients. But it also helps transport nutrients to your body and where it needs to go to make sure everything is working properly. It's used as a coolant, so it helps regulate your body temperature. It's also used as cushioning in your joints, spinal cord, and brain. So never really, this is something that I was reminded of, is how important it is to work in your joints to create some extra cushioning. It can help maybe with some joint pain, especially if you struggle with fluid intake, because it adds some of that cushioning in there. I loved this infographic as just a good image of and a good reminder of all the things that water does. Another thing to remind you all of is that it helps with clearer skin. So water is really, really great for our skin. And so if you've struggled with maybe some hormonal changes from weight loss and developed maybe some acne, or, we're kind of coming out of winter where our skin is a lot more dry, water can really, really help with that. So this image is a really good reminder of all of the great things that water does. We're going to talk a little bit about hydration here. So on average, most adults lose about 80 ounces of water every day. We do this through perspiration or sweating, through urination, which we have to do to eliminate waste from our body, through our bowel movements, again, another process where our body eliminates waste or products that it doesn't use or doesn't need. We lose water through breathing. So sleeping at night, we lose some water because we continue to breathe. So just through our normal daily functions, we're losing a lot of water outside of additional sweat that we may have if we are out exercising or out in the hot sun. More fluid is lost on hot and humid days. So as the temperature warms up, we're spending more time outside. Maybe we're getting sweating a little bit more in these hot and humid days. You're going to need more water. And the one thing about water is that excess is not stored in your body. So a way to think about that is you don't want to drink 80 ounces one day and then think, oh, I'm okay. I can drink 40 ounces tomorrow because I drank all that excess yesterday. Well, your body gets rid of excess water. It doesn't really have a place to store it for use later, so it doesn't really work that way. You have to be consistent with your water intake every single day. Otherwise, you're not going to have enough. So kidneys work to excrete the extra fluid from your body. Now, if you have a different health condition that might lead to more fluid retention, your body isn't necessarily excreting it the way that it should, or it's just hanging on to it extra. That doesn't mean that water isn't still important for you. That might just mean you have some different fluid needs, and you should certainly talk with your heart or kidney doctor if you have any fluid restrictions, because things just look a little bit different for you. That doesn't mean that water isn't important. That just means you have different goals, and that's okay. Fluid balance. So your body may need more fluid when you have exposure to extreme temperatures. So again, if you're outside or even when it's really cold, your body still needs a lot of fluid, and it's still really important. If you're in heated or recirculated air, again, you might just be getting rid of excess fluid if you're not having access to clean air, or if it's hot, you're going to need more fluid. Same if you're in high altitude. So if you take any trips where places like Colorado have higher altitudes, you need more fluid when you're there. If you're doing any strenuous work or exercises, people start getting out and maybe they start doing a little bit more yard work. You're going to need more fluid, so make sure you account for that. If you eat a pretty high fiber diet, so if you are really, really good about getting in lots and lots of vegetables, usually you need a little bit more fluid to help regulate your bowel movements. And then if you become pregnant or breastfeeding, you need more fluid for that. You need a lot more water just to produce breast milk if you are breastfeeding, or if you become pregnant and you're growing another little human that requires more fluid. Again, more fluid is going to be needed if you have a fever. If you get sick and you're having any diarrhea or vomiting, you need to replace that fluid that you lost because you're losing a lot of fluid with that. When you have a fever, your body's usually hot, so it's working overtime to cool things down, and that's going to use up more fluid, thus requiring you to drink or need to drink a little bit more fluid. So some of the signs of dehydration. Usually these develop when you lose about 1 liter a day with your respiration. So feelings of thirst are going to be early signs of that dehydration. Now, usually when you feel thirsty, that already means that you're getting a little bit dehydrated. So it's not a great time to think, oh, I don't feel thirsty, I don't need water. Well, really, we don't even necessarily want to get you to that point of feeling thirsty. With dehydration, you can have increased heart rate. And then your kidneys can't function at 100%, and your liver is then required to do some of that waste removal. The liver cannot metabolize fat properly, so then more fat is stored. So when we live in a constant state of dehydration or not having enough fluid, as this mentions, your liver isn't able to work to fully metabolize fat. So more of your excess fat is staying stored in the body. So water is really, really important for weight loss in that aspect. Again, with fluid, we also know that cognitive function can decline, and then you can become a little bit more irritable if you don't get enough fluid and if you're dehydrated. Now, fluid goals. I hope all of you know this by heart. You can say it forwards and backwards and know that we recommend at least 64 ounces of fluid per day. Now, I would love for that to be at least half plain water. We know that plain water is the best for us. There's no side effects to getting enough plain water every day, at least 32 ounces. Some people may benefit from more, and as I mentioned earlier, if you have other health conditions, you might not be a candidate to drink at least 64 ounces a day. You might need less than that to help keep some of your other health conditions in check. So be sure to always talk with your doctor about specific needs for you. Extra water comes from food. So surprisingly, about 20% of the fluid we take in is from foods. Now, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't drink 64 ounces of water a day. That means that you need to drink at least 64 ounces, and then you get some extra bonus fluid from some of the foods you take in. So a lot of your vegetables are really high in water. So if you think about things like cucumber, those are really, really high in water. You get a really good amount of water from when you eat those. Now, again, like I mentioned, it's still really important for you to drink at least 64 ounces a day, and then your additional fluid comes from some of the foods you eat. As I mentioned earlier, our bodies lose about 80 ounces a day. Again, that extra about 16 ounces is probably coming from your foods if you're only drinking 64. Now, fluids, again, mentioned, best source of fluid is plain water. Other beverage choices that, again, are all going to contribute to your fluid and hydration that we would recommend are going to be things like your Crystal Light, your Propel, your Powerade Zero, your Gatorade Zero. We do want you to avoid juices completely. Again, they contain too much sugar and will inhibit your weight loss. Use diet juice sparingly. Again, try and stay less than 10 calories per serving. The other thing about juices is that the sugar and the sweets are really, really bad for your teeth. So it's really important for dental health to stay away from sugary beverages. Be cautious with your caffeine. So caffeine is a stimulant and a diuretic. So if you're not drinking enough plain water and you're drinking a lot of caffeine, you can actually become dehydrated a little bit easier because your body is getting rid of fluid more frequently because it's a diuretic. So some tips for maintaining your fluid or getting all of your fluid in. Always carry a water bottle with you. Switch up the bottle based on what works well for you. I've told you guys before, a big cup with a straw is the thing that I found that works the best for me, but that might not be the same for everyone, so figure out what works well for you. Record the amount you drink daily along with your food records to help keep track to know if you're hitting your goals. So some more fluid examples that work well for you. You can do fruit-infused water. So feel free to add a little bit of lemon or lemon wedge or lime wedge to your water. Or maybe just a little bit of cut up strawberry. That's going to be okay with infusing and flavoring your water. Add some Crystal Light. Utilize decaf tea or decaf coffees, especially in the evenings if you're feeling hungry. A lot of times patients do well with drinking a hot herbal or decaf tea to help provide some satiety. Drink some Powerade Zero or Gatorade Zero. Maybe try some Sobe Life Water. If you really like Kool-Aid, try and get the sugar-free version. Do some Minute Maid Light or those liquid water enhancers. Again, things like those Mio drops can help flavor water just enough to help you increase your fluid intake. Some other tips for hydration. Drink small amounts frequently throughout the day. So what I don't want you to do is try and drink all your 64 ounces after dinner. We want it to be pretty regular throughout the day if possible. So take water breaks instead of coffee breaks. Drink 1 cup of plain water for every cup of flavored water that you have. This is going to help you ensure that you're getting at least 32 ounces of your plain water. Have a glass of water with your snack. So every time you plan to eat something, make sure you drink a glass of water with it. Keep water at your bedside at night to drink if you wake up. So, you wake up in the night, get a drink of water to help you stay hydrated. Other tips. Drink sparkling water at social events instead of alcohol. So try and avoid the caloric beverages by having a sparkling water instead. And it might still be a treat or something a little bit different out of the usual for you. Take water with you on your evening walk. This is something I do every single time I go for a walk. And right now I'm going for walks every single day. I always take a bottle of water with me and my goal is to finish it by the end of the walk. Drink water during your commute. So if you're commuting to and from work, try and drink water on your way there and on your way back. Follow your morning cup of coffee with a cup of water. Again, just another way to help make sure that you're getting in water. And these are some set things in your day to make sure that you're meeting those fluid goals. Now, be sure to follow up with me if you have any questions or concerns, or if you have tips to share with everyone of things that have worked really well for you to meet your fluid goals. I would love to see that for you or hear from you with what's worked well for you.